Hi everybody, Sean Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com. Today the fly I'm going to tie for you is called a Tabou Caddis. There are a couple other videos out there on this one. The reason I'm tying it is we really like this. We fish this in our area here and do pretty well on it. And we carry the material to tie this one in our shop. And one of the great things about this is you only need one thing, well, the hook and a string too, but you only need one thing to tie it with, and that is, let me back out here, it's this whiting soft-tackled chickaboo. Now this comes in a couple different colors. The color I'm going to use to tie it with today is an olive, and you can see what this actually is a Brahma. These are the sides of it, and then this is the belly or the butt area of the Brahma hen, and these here, great for wings on, wet flies and stuff like that. And you'll see it as the wing on this pattern. This is fished as a wet fly or a nymph. We fish it either way. You can swing it or nymph it. It works just as good. But a lot of uses you can get out of this thing. And this is one fly that's tied completely with this. So I'm going to start out with the size 14 Daiichi 1560 hook and some olive thread. Okay, we're going to tie it back to the bend, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the marabou like feather off the butt end of it here. I'm just going to take one feather, and you see how it's just like a miniature marabou feather. Okay, we're going to take and pull it all together, get it nice and tight. And then this is going to become the tail on the fly. Now I don't want a real big tail, so I'm going to get it all nice and tight here, and I'm going to tie it down. Get a nice soft loop on there. Now that's a little bit longer than I like for this fly. Tied it on a 14, I could tie it smaller. Probably prefer it a little smaller, but for video we're going to tie it on a 14. I fish 14s, we've caught fish on it. It's not... It'll work just fine at 14. Okay, we're going to trim that off. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take another one of those marabou feathers from the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bunch all these fibers up again, and the marabou down here at the bottom, I'm going to strip it off so it's out of my way, and I can use this to tie it in with. Okay, now I'm going to pack this all down tight again, and this time I'm going to tie it in by the tips of these feathers. I'm going to sit it on the top, I'm going to tie it down tight here, and tie this in by the tips and wind it back to where I started the tail. Alright, now I'm going to come back up and I'm going to wind this on, and this is going to make my body. Just going to make a couple wraps around here. Wrap this up here. Now, you see I'm only between half and 2/3 of the way up. That's fine. That's where I want it. I'm actually going to build a head out of this marabou here in a minute. So that's where I want that to be. I want this to be back, not crowding the eye on this fly, because I'm going to build a head out of this here in a second. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the feathers off the side here of it, and we're going to make the wing out of this. And what we're going to do is we're just going to strip back the feathers, strip back the fibers, okay, like that. We're going to set it on top here. We're going to see what size I need. Now that's a little big. So I'm going to pull a couple more fibers back. Okay, and then we're just going to sit it down on top again. Judge, that's looking right where I need it to be. Okay, I want it to come just over top of the tail. So we're going to hold that on here and tie it down, keeping it centered on top. Nice and tight on top, right there in the center where we want it. You know, every time I tie this I think about making a wrap or two, but I never do. To give it a little bit more leggy feeling, but there's enough of it on this fly that you don't really need to. Okay, now I'm going to come back in with another marabou feather. And we're going to make the collar on this fly. Okay, so packing it all tight again, like we did. Okay, and now we're going to put this underneath. And now, I want this to go right about, you know, to where the hook point is. Okay? So I don't want this real long. We're going to set it right underneath. We're going to loosely loop it in there, and I'm going to pull my feather down underneath the hook eye here, so I'm sure that I get it lined up centered down there where I want it whenever I wrap it in tight. Okay, now I made that a little bit long, so I'm just going to pull a little bit of that through to get it where I want it. Okay, and then I'm just going to wrap back here a little bit. Now, I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull it back and wrap it down a turn or two, and then wrap up the eye. Now I'm just going to make a nice little marabou head on this, just to finish the fly off. Just like one wrap there, just to get a nice coverage on it. Then we're going to trim this off. And then we're just going to come in and clean up the head and tie it off. Come back in, whip finish it. And that is all that is to a very, very simple pattern to tie that catches a lot of fish. Looks really, really good. Fishes really well. Like I said, you can fish it wet or a nymph. See how it makes a nice little wing case there. You got the nice little collar down here below. And this is all done with one material, with the soft tackle chickaboo. So if you want this, we color it in a couple different colors, in olives and grays and browns, all natural looking colors. Tie it up in any different color you want, and I promise you it'll catch fish. Thanks again for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to like us on Facebook at holsingersflyshop.com. Thanks again for watching.